What's going on, guys? Get this video a big thumbs up, and if you're new to the channel, come join the family, hit that subscribe button. If you're already part of the family, I appreciate you for rocking with me. So we got Bill Maher. You guys know that I'm not a real fan of Bill Maher. I think he's arrogant, closed-minded, elitist, out of touch, and I think he's emotional, and his personal hatred and vendetta for Trump make him simply an unreliable analysis and voice in the current political space. But you know what, at least he hasn't gone completely overboard, and to be frank, there's not too many people like that who currently remain on the left-wing side. Sounds crazy, but Bill Maher is a beacon of rationality and occasional common sense in the world of the left. And so I got to at least give him that. I have to give him that. And here we go again. Bill Maher continues to be the deliverer of bad news, inserting a little bit of reality into the delusional world of the left. And boy, oh boy, his latest segment was an absolute blow to the copium blue anon leftist spear. And they all want to deny the reality that Kamala Harris is plummeting in real time as we see her. But I guess Bill Maher ain't denying it. And if you know what I mean, let me show you guys some of these moments from his latest show. Then, of course, let's build on it. We got some stuff to get into it to check it out. So like I said, you exist on social media. You hear all these leftists continue to gloat of how great Kamala Harris is doing. And then, of course, there's reality, which I want you guys to check this out.
Not great for the Democrats. This is not a good sign. When you have an African-American candidate, you probably shouldn't be having to shore up your support among black men, but that's what's going on. Tim Walz is headlining a voter engagement event tonight with black men. Who better to connect with young black men than Tim Walz? Because apparently Michael Bublé was unavailable. Meanwhile, Kim Kardashian's like, hello. But no, Obama even came out yesterday to scold. He was scolding. Well, last month at the convention, he was no scolding. Now he's scolding. He was saying, you got to vote for Harris. But of course, for some young, especially the younger black men, it's a tough choice. Harris is African-American, but Trump has a sneaker line. So I was mentioning in the monologue, there's some sobering statistics for the Democrats this week about the election, which is only a little over 3 weeks away. I'm taking this from Andrew Sullivan's column. He says at this point in 2020, Biden, with far fewer resources than Harris has, was 10 points ahead of Trump. And in 2016, Hillary was 6 up. And she is only 2.6 up. Pennsylvania, Biden was up 7 at this point. She's up 1. Michigan, Biden was up 8, and she's tied. Now, we're all in our bubbles, okay? And that's one reason I'm glad you're here, because a lot of people are saying, I don't care about any of this. How could anyone think about voting for Trump? And that's why you're here, Buck.
Thank you.
And we're going to get to that. But it does not seem like she is closing the deal. This week she did a media blitz she went to Howard Stern and Stephen Colbert and The View, places where, I would say the ass is pre-kissed. Am I wrong? No. Did that help or hurt?
No, I think Kamala Harris just had the.
And check this one out, family. Check this out.
No.
Did that help or hurt?
No, I think Kamala Harris just had the worst week of her campaign so far, and it's been trending downward for quite some time now. Donald Trump, at this point, I think is very likely to almost certain to win the election, and I appreciate the opportunity to tell people why. I'll remember that, by the way, why that is. And I think there are two things that are weighing her down. First of all, what led up to her campaign. And I'll give a quick, I know it's 4 years, but I'll give a quick version of it. Kamala Harris has to explain, while she's a part of the Biden administration, second in command, you had some of the worst statistics you could possibly imagine as a politician. Hold on, I'm going to get there. Worst inflation in 40 years while Biden is president. First time you have over 100,000 opioid deaths while Biden is president. probably the worst open border in the history of the country, 8 million at least. And that's not including the 500,000 a year that are gotaways. So roughly 10 million people, you could call it, in 4 years entering illegally, almost all of whom are going to stay. Now, she doesn't want to throw Biden under the bus for this, and she didn't want to tell everybody that he's a dementia patient, so she decided that she was going to go along. It's just the facts, everybody. You get mad at me. She decided that she was going to go along with this until it was no longer possible because of the debate, and that's what she inherited. I haven't even gotten to her campaign yet. But
Well, there you have it, folks. You know, it always start off the same, right? We're doing our analysis, and I try to be fair as possible. I tend to give Donald Trump a little bit more benefit of the doubt in terms of my polling analysis. But I don't do that because I'm partisan, not because I'm delusional, but more so because the polls have been wrong, and generally are wrong, of course. 2020 was a little bit of an exception, so it's harder to do that now, but you get what I mean. I try to analyze the numbers as effectively as possible and as honestly as possible. And so usually, you know, we tend to be on trends pretty quickly, trends that the left, of course, denies and claims are MAGA Jew coupon, or they go as far to say conspiracy theories. That's when you know they're really losing. And then, of course, reality tends to kick in probably within a month or two, with a month to 2 month delay. And then all of a sudden they start sounding the alarm bells and saying all of the things we've been saying. So we go from conspiracy theorists to, I guess, trendsetters, right? And here we go again. Same exact thing. Bill Maher pointed out what we've been saying. Everyone wants to sing Kamala's praise, how great she's doing in national polling. But on the average, she's been up by what? 2 points nationally. That's not a path towards victory. That's a path towards disaster. And I've been saying that since day one. Even during the initial media blitz where everybody was panicking, it's time to get real, serious. Kamala Harris is a serious threat. Remember all these people freaking out on Twitter and so forth? Ron DeSantis, people coming out of the woodworks. I told you Trump was unelectable. I mean, there was some serious panic going on, man. But I kept saying she's up 2 points nationally in the RASM polls, and the other Trafalgar polls, we're seeing the exact same results. So what's the panic? Joe Biden, same time during the 2020 election, was up, 9 points, 7 points? I mean, she started to crater towards the end. I think she was up like 3.8 or roughly 4 points in average right ahead of election day, but still better than Kamala. If you look at the swing state polling data, you know back then if you were doing analysis, you probably would think, man, there's no way Trump can win. This. He's behind big time everywhere. But now this is the outlook. I mean, and I want to show you guys on my screen because this is the outlook. Now this is the outlook here. Look. So I mean, look at the RCP average just for top battleground states. Look, Trump has now taken the league in the average in every single state except for Wisconsin. And to be honest, Wisconsin looked like it's trending towards Trump. And again, it's a state where Trump is expected to do better than the polling averages are indicating. And then you look at October 12th in 2020 with Biden, right? And Biden was up 6.3 in the average. We can go ahead and take a look simply just by clicking a button, right? You know what I'm saying? Clicking a button and look at this. You know, Biden was up. Hold up. Sorry, family. Biden was up. Biden was up 11, 10, 8, 8. So huge astronomical leads. And in the end, what ended up happening? Even with all the Democratic electioneering, let's call it, I think Joe Biden took the state of Wisconsin by 13,000 votes, if I'm not mistaken. Let me double check here. And check over here. Let me double check right here that a little more than 13,000, right? 13,000 might have been Georgia. Just a little bit over just a little bit over 20,000 votes, a 0.6% margin. So the polls on average showed Biden winning by nearly 7 points, but the actual result was 0.7. There was a 6% Biden favored error in the aggregate. How can I say this? It was a 6% Biden favored error in the aggregate data. I mean, what does that tell you, right? That tells you that now with Kamala Harris leading in the average by 0.3, right? And likely even less as we get closer to election day. If the polls are wrong, like they were back in 2020, Trump could take the state by over 6 points theoretically. And this is the outlook that the Democrats are celebrating. You people are out of your damn minds, okay? You're delusional. You're so delusional that Bill Maher looks like the rational one. You know what I'm saying? It's actually insane. Bill Maher is the common sense guy. Not because he's an emotional wreck, but because, you know, the rest of you leftoids have freaking lost the plot in the copium this year, and it's just incredible. I mean, I really don't think they realize how bad the outlook is for them. And I'm not saying this election is over, Trump is going to win, but it's just not looking good, okay? And it's crazy to me that the left is looking at all this polling data and thinking, oh, we're on track for victory. I don't know. I don't think so. And speaking of this incredible copium, I think the craziest copium of it all is coming from all the early ballot data. We're getting some early mail-in ballot data coming out of a lot of states here, which Democrats are obviously overperforming. And so you got all these leftist analysis over here on X. You know what I'm saying? Over here on X, tweeting stuff like this. Oh, we're doing so well in the early voting. And look, but again, they're not drawing back to historical data. Sure, Democrats are ahead, but Democrats are far behind where they were in 2020, where the election in the Electoral College was only won by 40,000 votes. And I keep seeing tweets like this. You know what I'm saying? Data from Target Smart suggested that Democrats are running away with early voting. This is consistent with data showing robust turnout in overwhelmingly Democratic Detroit and Philadelphia. Oh, we're running away with the early vote. But that isn't the case at all. I mean, look at Michael Pruser over here, has been doing some incredible work. And pretty much across the board, we're seeing Republicans actually overperform in the early mail-in voting. North Carolina early mail-in voting update, regular voting registration is now closed in North Carolina. And this was the net change over the last 7 days. Republicans plus 11,300 Democrats plus 5,400 others plus 14,700 and on the return side, we're still on the track to finish with about a Democrat plus 8 return edge over Republicans. Plus 8. You don't need a degree in the statistics, or you don't need a big brain. You don't need to be a big brain political analysis to realize that a plus 8 early voting advantage for Democrats is abysmal. Considering what we see in 2020 and what we're seeing the same thing in Pennsylvania, he says, been tracking PA. You know what I'm saying? He says, I've been tracking PA absentee request and return since the primary in 2020. And today was the first time in just over 4 years that Republicans out-requested Democrats in mail absentee for the previous day. He breaks down the total request here as he's been tracking from mid-September. And look at this, folks. This is his chart, or this is a chart. Mid-September, and look at the breakdown. 61% Democrat and 27% Republican. That's significantly down from the 2020 results, where Democrats' requests were at 73% and Republicans at 19%, and back during the 2022 midterms, where Democrats were at 69% and Republicans at 21%. Democrats are claiming these numbers are good for them, but obviously that isn't the case at all. Democrats are lagging behind where they were in highly contentious, extremely close elections. And just to make matters worse on top of that, mail and ballot requests across the board are down, meaning the early mail and ballot vote is going to be less significant and this time theoretically than it was then. So you got Democrats underperforming in early voting, and then you got Republicans who are going to flood the polls on election day. I don't know. Doesn't exactly seem like a recipe for success now, does it? That's the reality. And it's becoming undeniable. And now you got the leftist talking heads like Bill Maher essentially sounding the alarms. But anyways, family, that's pretty much what I got. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure you give this video a big thumbs up and possibly join the family and rock with us and hit that subscribe button. But thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. On that note, family, peace.